Hello and welcome back to Aspen Grove Adventures. My name is Michelle, and along with my husband Matt and our two dogs and the little person that lives inside of me still, I travel full-time in this 32-foot fifth wheel. My husband Matt works full-time for a big corporation, so most of the time you're going to see me film like this, if you haven't noticed, and he's not usually here because he's working, and he gets to be in a lot of the other footage I shoot when we're out and about. But anyways, that's us, and I thought that I would just hop in to this video about Grand Teton National Park and what to do when it rains there, because we have learned over the past few weeks that it rains a lot in the Grand Teton National Park.
Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live.
So the Grand Teton National Park is in Wyoming. It is south of Yellowstone National Park, which is the first national park, and it's a big one. Lots of people go there. Lots of people also include Grand Teton in on their vacation to Yellowstone, which is what we're doing. If you want to go ahead and subscribe and follow along, a few videos from now we'll be in Yellowstone, so you can see our adventure there. But the way that we've kind of worked our this part of our route is Matt is working. He's actually in his office in the fifth wheel right now working from a place called Swan Valley, Idaho, which is about an hour outside of Grand Teton area. And so we're just going in on the weekends during the 2 weeks that we're here, and then he's going to take some time off, so he actually gets a vacation when we're in Yellowstone. So because of that, we've gone into Grand Teton, I think twice now. And so I have mostly footage from our first day in Grand Teton National Park, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about our second day. We are here in early June. We got here Memorial Day weekend, so right now it's June 7th. This video is not going to go up for a while, but it's been cold and rainy for a lot of the time here.
Grand Teton National Park.
And we were talking to one of the people that work in the visitor center. They're not a ranger, but they're a volunteer or just a staff person. And he was saying that so Grand Teton is located in a place called Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole is the name of a valley that has the town of Jackson, Wyoming, some other little towns, and much of Grand Teton National Park. Because the Tetons rise up really sharp and high on the western end of this valley, the way the weather fronts come is when they come over the mountains, they dump all of the water they can dump. The clouds dump all the water. So it rains a lot. He was saying it rains throughout the summer, usually in the afternoons. So if you're going to go to Grand Teton any time of year, even in the summertime, don't think that it's going to be dry. Plan for rain. And if you want to do things that are not in the rain, do them earlier in the day. So try and be done by noon. If you're going to climb the mountain, they want you off the mountain by noon because it can get very dangerous up there. We do have a biking trip, or we want to go biking in Grand Teton before we leave this area. And we're going to get up really early and get started really early on the day that we do that, because it rains a lot here. So all that said, chances are that when you are in Grand Tetons, if you're visiting Grand Tetons, there will be rainy days. So I want to talk to you about a couple of things that we've done, and then one more thing that we're gonna do. We haven't done it yet, but I've heard good recommendations, so I thought I would just suggest it to you guys here. So the first thing we did, the first day we got into Jackson, Wyoming, which is just south of Grand Tetons, is we stopped at the Elk Preservation Visitor Center, or there's like a preserve, an elk preserve, that stretches down south of the area and then also goes all the way up. I believe it goes all the way up to Yellowstone, and it includes national parks and forest lands and other lands, and it's this whole preserve where elk and other animals can be safe from humans as much as possible. And they have a really great visitor center in the town of Jackson. So if it's pouring rain and you're like staying in Jackson or right near Jackson and you want to spend a day maybe going to like touristy stuff, you could include this visitor center. It was really great. They have a very educational and fun museum. It was small. I don't know if you would call it a whole museum, but you definitely, you walk up this ramp and around onto the second floor, and they have a ton of information about all of the animal life in the area. They do have a junior ranger program. I think that's what they call it. They might have a special, like a junior explorer or junior something for kids, a little booklet that can be completely done in that visitor center. You do not have to go outside. You don't have to go exploring the national park or anything. So if it's a rainy day and you just want to be inside and you have kids, you should grab those. They're free. And so as they go through the museum area, they can find the answers and do the activities. And at the end, you get a little patch. I went ahead and did it, even though we don't have children with us who are doing junior ranger activities. Adults are allowed to do it too. So I did it just to kind of see what it was about. And also sometimes it's a really fun way to learn stuff that you wouldn't necessarily learn unless you did this. And who cares if you're an adult? Go ahead, have fun. So they also have a really cool viewer platform outside. So if you go up and look at the museum and then you can go out onto this platform, it is covered. It was really windy and wet and rainy and we didn't spend much time out there, but on a nice day, I'm sure it's great. And even on a rainy day, we saw a lot of ducks and other birds kind of out enjoying the water. So that's definitely a recommended part if you want to dart out and just look and then come back into the nice warm. And then they also have a gift shop, of course. Most places do. And everyone there was really friendly. I really liked the staff. They were really excited. One woman was kind of new and she was very excited to like have me go through my Junior Ranger book afterwards. And I heard them giving kids their little patches that they get, and they were having a lot of fun. So I really recommend that for the rain. They have a great parking. There was RV parking, kind of, if you have a smaller RV or a motorhome or something. But if you're towing a 40-foot RV, it's not going to be great. Like our rig is probably too big. But I saw a lot of camper vans, a lot of Class C's, and I think I saw a teardrop trailer. So if you have a smaller rig, definitely there's parking there for you. And then there's lots of other parking if you just have a regular car. So that would be my first recommendation on a rainy day in Jackson.
Is what?
The other thing we did on that first rainy day was we went to the Craig Thomas Discovery and Visitor Center. It is a visitor center in the Grand Teton National Park. I believe, if I remember correctly, it is before the pay gate. So if you are if you're just in Jackson and not planning on going into the national park and you don't want to pay, then you can go to this visitor center and it is free. You don't have to pay to go to this section of the national park. If I remember correctly, don't quote me on that, but I believe that is the case, but look it up for yourself. It was really good. They had a lot of information and a lot of really cool ways of displaying this information in their museum section. Like at one point there's like these screens that are down on the floor and it has like nature, it's like walking through a creek, or it's like soaring over trees, and it's just really fun. And I saw a lot of kids like dancing and having fun on that. It was really cool. They have a lot of physical items rather than just here's a plaque that you have to read and a picture, which is always fun to have, like actual artifacts and things. The information there covered a wide range of topics, including the animals, the flora and the fauna, the geography of the place and how the mountains sprang up without any foothills, a lot of like human history of the area. The only thing is I felt like they really, really quickly and not super appropriately glossed over the pre-white man getting here human history. Native Americans lived in this area for many, many, many centuries prior to a white person setting foot here. And so I felt like it deserved more than like a poster about it. Like, I felt like there could have been more that they included on that topic. But that's really the only thing that I think they should have worked more towards, and hopefully they are working towards that. I did see there is a exhibit going in, they haven't finished putting it in, about Native American basketry, which is great, but I think it's a temporary roving exhibit, and so I think they need more permanent information, because it was like this whole wall of human history information, and like the first panel was like, yeah, Native Americans were here, and then it's like, oh yeah, Native Americans were here, and then they like helped white people, and then 7 more panels of white people. So felt like they could have done better with that, but other than that, it was really good. And then also they had about a 25-minute film, and the film was really nice. We enjoyed seeing that. We really like a national park film. And so this ate up about an hour and a half of our day, which is a good section if you're trying to fill up a rainy day. And I think you could have spent more time there if you wanted. We also did not check out their Junior Ranger book. So if you have kids, you should ask for that and see how much you can get done in the indoor space. Maybe I'll come back in with like a little drawing feature and draw some little, I'll use my little mountain animation that we have in our intro, and I'll be like, here's where they should be. They is not here. So that was really our first day in Jackson. We only did those 2 things because we got a late start and it was a rainy day. But we went back to Jackson and Grand Tetons the following week, because we're just doing weekends here. And we were hoping for a much nicer day, and we didn't get one because, like I said, it rains a lot here because the way the mountains work. But we had already had plans to go to the Jackson Hole Playhouse, and we were so excited we went here. So it started to like really pour just as we were going in, which was good timing. Jackson Hole Playhouse is located in the oldest building in Jackson, Wyoming. It started out as like a carriage house or stables, and it is now a theater. It's been a live show theater since the 1930s. And so now every summer they put on a live stage show, and then they also have a dinner option. So we opted for the dinner and a show package, which was for an adult $100. I believe it was $100 per adult. Plus, once you get there, if you order drinks or there's a gratuity they add on, things like that, it does get more expensive. So we went and we had our dinner, and I had a vegetarian chili. Matt had a vegetarian meatloaf, which they were both very good. We enjoyed them. They had lots of other options. That was all included in our dinner payment. I believe they had a couple of like upcharged meals. Like I think they had like a lobster or something. So, or like a fancy steak. So you could order a fancier meal and then you'll get charged more at the end. They add on a gratuity. And then Matt had 2 alcoholic drinks. I had 1 non-alcoholic drink. And so with all of that, we paid another $60 on top of our $200 because it was 2 people. So it's not a cheap evening out, that is for sure. But the dinner was really great, and everyone who is serving you, all of your servers, are in period costume, and they look like they work at a saloon or some kind of Old West establishment, which is really cool. And they're also your performers in the show. So you eat dinner. Dinner was like around 5:30. The show was around 7:30. And everyone who serves you also then performs in the show. So periodically throughout dinner, they sing and they perform. And that's just a really fun aspect of this experience.
High boots, Stetson hat, and a leather vest. Cowboy, great American cowboy. With a horse and a rope and a gun, he tamed the West.
And then after dinner, you go over into the theater and they seat you, and we watched Paint Your Wagon. So every year they do a different show. I think they've done Annie Get Your Gun in the past. I think they've done Seven Brides for Seven Brothers in the past. So every year it's this Old West themed live stage show. And they were good. They were very good. Like, I looked up the soundtrack on YouTube afterwards, and I preferred this guy at the Jackson Hole Playhouse in Wyoming over Clint Eastwood, like their singing skills. Not that Clint Eastwood's ever pretended to be a singer, he's an actor, but you know what I mean. Like, these guys were amazing. Also, I had no idea that Paint Your Wagon, the movie, was so different than Paint Your Wagon, the stage show, and I really, really, really liked the stage show, and there was a lot of great songs. So I really recommend this if you are going to be in the area, because you're likely to have a rainy evening, this is something that they call it family friendly. There was a little bit of raunchy parts because, you know, it's about 400 men to one woman living in the Old West. So, you know, there was some, but I think they would go over kids' heads. So I think you could take a kid and enjoy this as a full family in the rain. And it's a way of, like, you know, being indoors and still getting this Old West fun experience. So we really, really liked that. We're probably going to recommend that to everybody who ever mentions they're going to Jackson to us ever again. Our last recommendation for the rain we have not actually been to. It's just everyone recommends it, and we do plan on going, so hopefully it's not gonna, you know, be a dud. But there is the National Museum of Wildlife Art. It is just south of the entrance to the park, and they have a nice sculpture garden outside, so if there's a break in the rain you can go check that out. And apparently it's just a really beautiful way of spending some time in Jackson during the rain, because there's just this collection of wildlife art. So it's oil paintings and sculptures and I don't know what else. We do plan on going though, and I just wanted to tack that on in case you find yourself in the rain in this area and are looking for just one more thing to do. So that is our experience at Jackson so far. We do have another day in the Grand Tetons, so I hope that we can enjoy a little bit of, you know, outdoor time before noon. And then also this art museum, we will not be filming that just because we are jumping into vacation. Matt's gonna be on his vacation from work, and so I wanted to get this video finished. So I don't think there's gonna be a video about that. If there is, it'll be a separate video. It won't be in this video. So yeah, we are jumping into our vacation. I can't wait to take you guys along to Yellowstone, so subscribe if you want to see some of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful if you plan on being in Jackson, Wyoming, and it starts raining on you. So that's it for this video. Be sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye.
Today